In this lesson, I'm going to introduce you to a special object that's already defined in VBA for Access. It's called the application object. Now, I've mentioned it in previous lessons. What the application object is, it's an object that contains information about the entire Microsoft Access application, which encompasses everything. That's all the tables, all the forms, all the reports, all the macros, all the code modules, all the properties, everything that is contained in the Microsoft Access application can be referenced by this one object. Now, you have one and only one application object. There's one application object for the application. You don't create variables of that type or do anything like that. You always have one application. Its name is application. That's the name of the object. Now, if I hit the dot here, we can see the different events and properties that are associated with the application. I'm not going to go through all of these throughout this course. If you're interested, you can look it up on an online reference. A few that I want to point out now, and there'll be others that we will get into later in this course. One that's crucial is the collection of things. Remember, I mentioned in a previous lecture that every object type has as a parent a collection of those. An example are forms. Okay, we are currently in a single form in the Microsoft application. That form is part of a collection of forms. That collection of forms is contained inside the application. Reports have a collection of reports. But if we go down here, what you will notice that might strike you as odd is there's no tables collection. And you're thinking, but there are tables in Microsoft Access. Why isn't there a tables collection? Well, there isn't. Because the way that Access stores tables is directly by the table. And the table itself is a collection of fields. So it stores that information in a slightly different fashion as is handled by the application object. To access data contained within tables, VBA for Access actually uses a different object called a record set. We'll be getting into using record sets later on in this course. But all the other basic objects inside of Access have as a collection of those, and then each individual one can be found inside the collection. So basically, the application object allows you to get to anything in the application. Now, how is that helpful? Well, here we are in the open event of one particular form. What if we wanted to check out the information on a different form? We can get into the collection of forms, find the form we're looking for by its name, check the property to see if it is an open form, because we can only access information on open forms. Remember the events that happen when we open a form. Open draws it, load puts in the data. That's what we need, that event to have happened in order to get the data. But if the form is already open, we can find the form in the collection of forms, determine if it's open. If it is, look for the information we want and be able to use that for test purposes, or even copying that data from an object on that form into an object into our existing form. So that starts to allow you to see the real power of using code behind the scenes in VBA. There isn't a wizard or an easy way to be able to do that in Access, of taking information from one form to another. From one table to another, yes, with a query. From one form to another, no. but VBA allows you to do that. Later on in the course, I'll be showing you some examples of doing some cross-object referencing like that. It's a little bit more complex topic. I need to go over some simpler topics first, but we will get to being able to how to do that.